Yes, so my name is Magnus Enerbäck. I work as a global marketing manager at a company called Mölnlycke Healthcare based in Gothenburg, Sweden. We have this ambition to change or improve the world of incision care. And to do that, we obviously need to have a good product, but we also need to drive opinion. And obviously the best way to drive opinion is through evidence, to prove that advanced incision care actually makes a difference for patient. We launched a dressing called Mölnlycke Post-op in 2017, and when we launched it, we had evidence to prove that it was safe to use for 7 days. And obviously a dream then would be to have a longer wear time, because the concept of undisturbed wound healing is as relevant for incisions as it is for any other wound. Leave the dressing in place for as long as possible to minimize contamination, reduce cost and time, and to promote healing.
And I understand that some surgeons were using it for a longer period. That's an off-label use then, in fact.
Yes, so we had a sales rep that had a customer that she knew that he was using the dressing for longer than 7 days. And we actually know of many that do. The problem is that mostly, take orthopedic surgery, elective orthopedic surgery, the patient would stay in the hospital for maybe 1 or 2 days, and then they would leave and never come back. And any complications would be treated elsewhere, like in home care or by a GP. So even though we knew that many used the dressing for longer than 7 days, there was no practical way for us to prove that it was safe until this customer came up, or a surgeon in Belgium, that actually had a way to follow up and confirm that the long wear time was perfectly safe and beneficial for the patient and for the clinician.
So I understand that that customer then was using the moveUP platform to collect data.
Indeed. So and when we got to know this and had a chance to look at moveUP to see what what type of data was collected, we quickly realized that this is exactly what we need. This is exactly what we need. So we had a discussion with the clinician, and we agreed actually to do a retrospective clinical trial based on the data from the moveUP app. And obviously it was safe, but the data in it was perfect for us to confirm it. Outcomes were perfect, with low infection rates, minimal complications. So this data allowed us to actually publish a retrospective study in a peer-reviewed journal, which then allows us to regulatory correctly and legally and everything claim that the dressing can be used safely for up to 14 days.
Yeah, so based on the data, if I hear you well, it was set from an on-label use from 1 week to 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Or even longer sometimes.
Or even longer.
So it will help us to change the world of incision care to the better.
Wow. And how did your commercial team and the customers react to that change?
I mean, it's when we approach surgeons who have, let's say, more old traditional protocols. It could involve that you do a dressing change after 24 hours to inspect, and then you do daily dressing changes after that. That's unfortunately not common. For us as a company to say that's wrong, you shouldn't do that. That's hard, right? But if we can refer to a clinical trial, you have a colleague, dear Mr. or Mrs. Surgeon, that uses an advanced dressing safely for 2 weeks. With a huge benefit for the patients, for cost, for sustainability. It really helps us to make a difference and persuade surgeons to look at incision care in a different way.
Yeah, it really shows the strength of data in here, in this clinical study. Very expensive, these studies, and take a long time. How was this experienced?
I mean, if moveUP if we hadn't had that opportunity, I'm not sure what we would have done. I mean, we could have done a prospective clinical trial, and then finding the patient once they leave the hospital. It would have been a cumbersome, long, and very expensive exercise. But because moveUP allowed this patient follow-up, which very rarely happens, normally that would not happen. So it was actually key. the data that you generate it's kind of a gold mine for clinical research. Without this possibility with data collection, we would probably have done it eventually, but it would have taken a couple of years longer for sure.
Okay, interesting.
And cost a fortune, yeah.
And maybe as a last point, the collaboration with moveUP. Can you tell something about that?
It's an interesting way to use moveUP that you might not have thought of from the beginning. And for anybody to collaborate, for a company or for another clinician to collaborate with somebody using moveUP opens a lot of very interesting research possibilities. Obviously, we've had a great cooperation, and you know, it's been a very seamless, smooth, and nice experience.
Excellent, Magnus. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Speak soon.
Yes. Bye-bye.